are what completed capability statements, also known as one-pagers, look like. Before I go into how to create your own winning capability statement, I actually need to take a step back. There are many out there who say you need to have this capability statement in order to win government contracts. In reality, you don't. It is not needed to win any federal contracts, and it isn't even what you turn in response to a sources sought notice. I'm going to go in and share how these are used, why they're of importance, before I go into how to create one. A capability statement, it's a piece of marketing material. You are conveying to a federal agency who you are, what you do, and what differentiates you from everyone else out there. These capability statements are super important. They are used when holding one-on-one capability briefs with an agency. Typically, you will send them as a PDF to the agency prior to your virtual capability brief. You also can use these when attending conferences and matchmaking events, except you could provide a printed copy or use an app where you have it on your phone and someone can scan and access a copy of your capability. You also can put a copy of your capability statement on your website, which can be super handy because it provides an agency a snapshot of who you are, what you do, and how you stand out from the crowd. Unique to the federal government is having a capability brief where you, as a small business owner, can email and call a small business rep, a contracting officer, program manager, a program analyst, and request to have a meeting with them. And prior to the meeting, you typically will email them a PDF of your capability statement, which is super unusual because if you wanted a meeting with, let's say, McDonald's or Google or AT&T, you're not just going to be able to simply email them and ask for a meeting. It doesn't work like that. So when it comes to this capability statement, you want to make sure it is as professional as possible. It's as honest as possible. In many ways, it's like a resume. It gets you in the door. It doesn't lead to necessarily work, just like a resume doesn't mean you're automatically gonna get the job. So it allows you to shine. So while you're having that capability meeting, you're able to provide details and elaborate on the items in your capability, which I call the SAR method, providing the situation, the action, and the result of all of the amazing things that you are able to do. Here's how you create your capability statement. On this list, I outline all of the information that you're going to need. So you get a blank piece of paper, Word document, you can write it down, you can put it in your phone, and here's the information that you will need to populate your capability statement. Your corporate data. You will need a logo. If you don't have a logo, there are a ton of free websites. This is just one of many. You don't have to use it. You could also hire somebody off of Fiverr, but you definitely need a logo because it makes you come across as professional. You also will list your business name. I know that there are many out there where maybe you have a name tied to hair, plumbing, trucking, but you also want to expand. So just simply create a doing business as. So on your capability, you list your doing business as instead of Tina's Twist and you're going after janitorial work. Very simple. Set asides. Basically, every single person watching this video, you are a small business. Unless you exceed the NAICS codes, you're bringing in like $70 million a year, maybe you have 400 employees, you would be considered not small because in the federal space, you're either small or you're not small. So on your capability, list small business. All my women business owners list that you're woman-owned small business. You don't have to have these certifications, at least put it out there because you are able to self-certify. Even SDVOSBs, service disabled, veteran-owned small businesses, you can self-certify too. So list it on your capability or cut and paste a logo. You can easily find these logos using Google. You want to list your phone number. It's best to provide a cell number. Just make sure your voicemail is appropriate. Also, same thing for your email. You want a professional email, but you got to start where you need to start. If it's at Gmail, that's perfectly fine, but it's best if you have a domain affiliated with your business. Website. If you have it, list it. If you don't have a website, create a LinkedIn profile, update your LinkedIn profile, and use that as your website as you're growing. You also want to include your UEI, your cage code, any of your NAICS. Here's a bonus strategy. These capabilities tend to be customized for the agency or the type of opportunity. So if you're going after janitorial work, don't put NAICS codes on there pertaining to training or trucking. Brand it to focus on janitorial. If you're looking to go after all of your various capability areas, then make sure that your NAICS codes reflect this. Next is my favorite, the About Us. So I've provided information here, and I have a special bonus for you all here in a second too. So you're going to want to put in here, your business delivers XYZ to the federal government. Our core focus areas include XYZ. We have ongoing experience working with We, or your business name, is a certified small business based in, and you list any other set asides that you have. Now, for those of you who are like, I've never had a client in my life, who am I going to list? Your previous employers. You got to start somewhere. And while you're having a capability brief, you can list that. Hey, I once worked for Bob's Consulting, and at Bob's Consulting, I led all of these projects, and under my lead, we increased revenues by 20% and customer satisfaction increased by 100%. I worked for Trina's Trucking, and while I was there, we increased the delivery time, something of that nature. So if you don't have any experience with actual paid customers, it's okay. Just list the agencies or organizations who you worked for. Next, your core competencies. You're going to want to identify all of them, keeping in mind that these capabilities are customized. Next, your past performance. You can provide the names of these organizations, their logos, especially if they're logos that we all know, like Nike or Google or Microsoft, Facebook, TikTok. Put the logos there. Your differentiators. These could be certificates that you have, awards, maybe a degree, money you saved, some type of turnover statistic, as well as I have a bonus here. If you have it, and you believe it adds some value, list your references, provide testimonial. So here is an example of a completed capability. And this is a gentleman who I coach, and a professional graphic designer was used to create this. I know not everyone can afford to pay for a graphic designer, so I have something for you all, and that is a free capability template. I will give this to any and all of you who join my Facebook group. You'll see the link below in the comments. And when you join, just type free, and I'll make sure someone on my team sends this to you. Another myth about capability statements is that they have to be super pretty, they have to look like $1 million, and let me share, they don't at all. This is an older capability statement that my company used, and I loved this thing. I loved it because it was patriotic. I loved it had our new logo on it, and I was so proud of this capability statement. I met with a small business rep with the CDC, and she's looking at it, and we're talking, and we're in person, mind you. And then she leans in and says, "QZ, this is a really pretty capability statement, but where are your NAICS codes?" And she started ripping it apart. And I went from this to embarrassment. Oh my goodness. So when it comes to these, again, just provide the information that I outlined, put it in a Word document, and save it as a PDF so that anytime you need to send the information electronically, you send it as a PDF. If you're meeting in person, you can print it, you can use a QR code, whatever it is you desire, just make sure the key information is there. Till next time, everything is possible, my amazing GovCon winners.